Hello people, Rivet here. Welcome back to the Hacienda. Today we are in the kitchen. We are going to make something delicious, delightful, healthy, guaranteed to lower your blood pressure, thin your blood, make you feel 10 years younger. We're making Korean kimchi, fermented cabbage coleslaw. Now don't let that fermentation part scare you. If you drink beer, like wine, eat cheese, sourdough bread, all that stuff is fermented. Okay, this is an authentic Korean dish. It is very healthy, very fresh, and it starts out with a Napa cabbage. This is the largest Napa cabbage I have ever seen in my entire life. I got it at the Oriental store, the Korean store. I've already trimmed the end off, and I've taken the outer leaves and rinsed them off. Okay, the inner leaves are all going to be clean. Now the first thing we're going to want to do is slice it up, and then I got the biggest bowl we got in the house, and we're going to put it in there, and then we're going to brine it. But anyway, I'm going to start by cutting the cabbage leaves. Kimchi, which is an historical Korean national dish. As many people as live in a village, that's how many recipes you're going to find. So there's probably a million ways to make kimchi. This recipe here that I'm using was given to me by a Korean fellow I used to work with. And this is the way he made it, and it's good, so there you have it. Alright, to make the brine, this is what the cabbage is going to be soaking in for a few hours. Now, we're going to need 1 tablespoon of canning and pickling salt for every 2 cups. So I'm going to put in 4 tablespoons here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And since I've made this quite a few times, I know I'm going to need at least 12 cups of water. So I'm just going to dissolve this, pour it in, and then I'm going to add enough water. So join me back in a moment. Here's the first 8 cups of brine. What this is going to do is going to begin to soften the cabbage and allow it to absorb some of the salt and help the pickling process. Okay, so now I got to make more water. Okay, it took a total of 6 quarts of water. You can see, or brine, it's up to there. What we want to do now is just get a plate and kind of weigh it down with something to try to keep as much of the cabbage submerged. Now the cabbage is going to start leaking out its water as you press it down, which is fine. So I'm going to leave it here. I'm going to put some kitchen towels around, and I'm going to let it brine for about 3 hours or so. 2 to 3 hours is fine. You can leave it brine overnight, 4 hours, whatever. In the meantime, I'm going to prep the rest of the vegetables, and join me back later this afternoon. Okay, I've done the prep work while the cabbage is still brining. I've taken 7 cloves of garlic, fresh, peeled them, and chopped them coarsely, with about 2 or 3 generous tablespoons of the store-bought pre-minced garlic that you can get in the containers. You can use all of one or the other. We just like the combination of both, so that's what I use. Then I've taken the 2 onions, sliced them. 1 I sliced into petals, and 1 I've sliced into half moons. Just for shape differences, it really doesn't matter how you slice them. Then 1 entire bunch of spring onions, green and all. Cut the tips with the roots off, and then just chop everything up into sizes that you like. This is going to add some good color and flavor. Then here we have about this much fresh ginger. You need about a 1/4 cup. Okay, 3 hours later, the Napa cabbage has shrunk. I've got it there on a colander draining, And I've saved the brine because we're going to need that later. And so over here I got the bowl now dried out, and we're going to put all the cabbage in there like so, and we're going to start adding the rest of the kimchi ingredients. Okay, so I got the cabbage in the bowl, and what I'm going to add is about this much hot pepper flakes. Be careful, these hot pepper flakes are what add heat, and you don't really want a lot of heat in there. I got 5 teaspoons sugar and 2 more teaspoons of the pickling salt, and we have about a generous cup and a half of the red pepper flake. This is not hot, this really doesn't add heat, that's going to give you the color. Then we are going to add the green onion that we cut up. We're going to add the white onion. We are going to add the ginger and the garlic. And then we're going to mix that up like a salad. Okay, let me get a spoon. We got the garlic here. And after we get that incorporated, we'll add some of the liquids, like the fish sauce and the shrimp paste. So let me get something like this, and you know what? I'm not even going to mess with this. You got to use your hands, people. That's the way you do it. Okay, I washed my hands. They're good. We want to get this all incorporated nicely. And then what we're going to do, oh man, it smells so good. Of course we're making a mess, but that's okay. It's a clean kitchen. We're going to mix it up gently, get everything covered up. This time of year is a perfect time to make kimchi, because you want to keep it to ferment where it's going to be relatively cool. You don't want to leave it out where it's going to be 80 degrees, you know, in the middle of the summer in your kitchen. So if you got a basement where it's kind of like in the mid-60s, that's good. Right now, at this time of year, heck, you can leave it in your kitchen counter. You'll be fine. Oh boy, this smells so good. And it is so healthy for you. All these flavors. What we're going to do is we're going to ferment it in a gallon glass jar. We buy our olives from Spain in green olives by the gallon. Outfit out in New York we order it from. And you get these really cool glass jars, which are good for everything. And that's what we're going to ferment the kimchi in. So what I'm going to do off camera, I'm going to shove all that kimchi in the jar. Then we're going to add the shrimp paste and the fish sauce and the remainder of the brine in there, which I'll show you in a minute. Okay, so I've jammed all the kimchi in there. Now I got about 2 or 3 tablespoons of that shrimp paste that I bought. That's some good stuff. Boy, it smells so rich and delicious. And then we got the generous ½ cup of the fish sauce that goes over that. Okay, and you can see it now burbling down. This is what's going to give it its signature lovely flavor. Now I am going to wait a moment and let this start settling down, and over the next few minutes, 20 minutes or so, I'm going to start pouring the brine in, okay, that we reserved. And because you're going to want the entire amount of cabbage to be submerged in brine, and then you put it up to ferment. Okay, so here we go. Finally got everything cleaned up. Got the jar cleaned. Got it filled. And we're going to get it ready for fermenting for the next 3 to 5 days. Now, of course, you're going to get your piece of food history with a rivet and the Hacienda's Kitchen. We normally think of fish sauce as being Oriental, but actually fish sauce was extraordinarily popular back in classical Rome, and it was known as garum, G-A-R-U-M. And it's a little known fact is that during the days of bread and circuses and the Colosseum and the lions and all the fighting, not only was bread distributed to the populace, but so was garum. Garum was an incredibly popular condiment. It was made out of fermented fish in amphora, and it was extraordinarily powerful and smelly, and it was used a lot to mask spoiled food. But anyway, it was a good flavor. Of course, what we use nowadays is nowhere near as potent as garum was. But there you have it. Now, one last item before I take it downstairs. You might be wondering why the bag and the rubber band. Because this is going to ferment, and it's going to start releasing gases. And if I use the screw down lid, it could explode, and we don't want that to happen. With this, the gases will fill this up, and if it gets too strong, it'll open and they'll escape. Now, after 3 to 5 days, after all the flavors are mixed in, I'm going to take this off, and we're going to use this because we're going to store it in the refrigerator, and the cold of a refrigerator will stop the fermentation process, so there won't be any worry about it exploding. So anyway, there you have it.